Welcome back to the channel, guys. And if you can't tell at the thumbnail, yeah, I did a big purchase, right? This was the get the new job, buy something you've been wanting to buy yourself for a bit. So use that as an excuse to get a sim rig. Now, this was my first time ever doing this, right? And yes, I have a ridiculous amount of anime. I'm gonna have to clear some space. A lot of things are probably gonna have to get shoveled out or moved to storage. So we'll see, because I don't know. I measured, and if I measure correctly, everything's gonna fit, but you never know, right? Something could be a little bigger in person. So based on my measurements, I have the space to put the sim rig in the corner, right? And I'll show you right here in a second. But I have a dual PC setup, right? And I used to do a lot of streaming for just gaming, right? So a lot of COD, some Dead Space. I try to like mix it up, but a lot of it was just around COD or playing just games for the very first time and kind of doing, you know, the walkthroughs or whatnot. So I stopped streaming once I really started focusing on the car channel, and that one kind of started taking off. And my emphasis and attention needed to be where it was, things were growing, right? That was the most important part. So I took a step back from streaming. I said, well, I would just focus on the car. No big deal, right? You pivot, that's just life sometimes. But now that I got the sim rig, I kind of want to get back into streaming. I know this isn't your typical car channel, like stuff, right? Like me installing something, performance mod, whatever. But it's still in the avenue of cars, so I figured it falls on the channel, who cares? And I'll put the handle down for my streaming channel so you guys can check it out if you want. It's definitely not like this, so I will warn you, you know, I'm super competitive with a lot of things that I do. I don't like to lose, especially in games or in sports. So that's really like evident in the channel. So if you hear some curse words, yeah, I'm sorry. That one's definitely not geared towards little kids. I will say that up front. Here's part of what we got to do, right? So let me show you guys, because there is a massive amount of boxes. And yes, Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel character, and then Iron Man. But there is a slew of boxes, and I'll tell you right now, just for the sim rig itself, right? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then there's some in my living room because they don't fit in my office. There's 8 here, 9, 10, 11. So I got 11 total boxes. So I'll give you a breakdown, right? Really quickly. And then I just want to get into building this thing. I want to use it. It's the reason I bought it. My steering wheel's coming in soon for this guy. And I think there's like some few like knick-knack things. But for the majority of it, the whole chassis is here. Even the racing seat is here for it. And what I thought was really cool was that you can buy a sparkle seat or, you know, a bright seat, and they all attach to this, which is awesome. But, you know, those things cost a lot more money. And if I'm buying a sparkle seat, let's be real, guys, I'm putting that thing in my car. Screw this sim rig for that, no way. I'm gonna show you kind of what it is. I don't know what's in these boxes, so I'm gonna have to open it with you guys, and then I'll explain some other things, and I'll show you my setup here as well, all right? So if you wanna see, look at how much, like, a lot of these things are gonna get shuffled around, guys, and a lot of the things that I do collect anime-wise or just Marvel-wise is gonna get put away. I don't know if I've ever shown you guys this, but this is only like 30% of all the anime I have, like the entire collection. So there's Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, I have My Hero Academia, and most recently Demon Slayer that I started collecting. Yeah, there's a lot, but these are all the boxes, right? At least all these brown ones are what came. And if you follow me into my living room, don't mind the mess, there's more boxes here. And then I decided that I was just gonna build a new PC because I was having trouble with this case. So I bought a new case. I have to paint it. This is also my setup, right? So this is my fully water-cooled gaming PC that runs on a 3080 Ti and then a Ryzen 9, I forget which model, but it's a 16-core CPU with 64 gigs of RAM. And this one's fully water-cooled. And then if you look at the other one, this is a whole setup, guys, right? I know I gotta do better cable management. Don't mind it right now, I'll get to it in a bit. But then this is the entire like setup, right? Triple monitor setup with I think this is a 55 or 60 inch TV. And then I also have the Rodecaster for my mixer, the Stream Deck, right, when you're in stream. And then last but not least is my streaming PC. And the streaming PC is really simple. I think I only went with like a 8 or 12 core Ryzen 7 or something like that. And then this runs on a Gigabyte 3060 and also with an Aurora's board. And yes, I kept this one as dummied down as I could because this is what handles all the streaming, right? So That's pretty much the setup how it stands right now. This guy's gonna come down. The new one is actually wall mounted too. It's just a bit bigger because I will say this, if you ever water cool a CPU, it's the biggest pain in the butt ever. I loved it, but moving into a new case means I needed to cut new glass. I don't have more glass. I don't want to order more of that nonsense. I was like, screw that. I'll just go with a new GPU and I'll just buy an AIO for the CPU, call it a day, it's done. It cools down, whatever. But the water cooling, it looks cool when you turn it on. It's definitely, there's pride taken behind it just because it takes a while to do it. It's not really optimal. Like there's a lot of legwork that goes in behind it, right? So I'm done with water cooling. I'm not saying I won't ever do it again, just not right now. Maybe when I buy a house, then I'll go all out and do a crazy water cool build, right? Like something where I get a big picture frame and I make it look like art. We'll see. But for now, we're gonna swap out because it's easier that way. We're gonna get to opening boxes. You're gonna see me build this in real time. So this is the Trak Racer racing sim. I recently got into F1 thanks to my best friend, Angelo. I've always wanted a sim rig for, you know, like Forza and like that kind of like the rally style. But getting into F1, I was like, this would be kind of cool. All I got to do now, guys, is with the rig I got and the things that are coming in last, I can use I just got to buy a rally wheel and then it'll link up to all this stuff. So I think that's pretty cool, but I want to get to opening boxes, seeing what's what, and then trying to figure out how I build this crazy nonsense because I don't even know. But I will say this too. I ended up going with the Simagic. I think that's how you pronounce it. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I went with the Simagic everything. And it kind of seemed like the best bang for the buck without having a, yeah, this is expensive. So let's get that out the way. But it was the best bang for the buck in terms of like being in like that middle tier to like right before you jump into like the super performance sim rig nonsense. So I got the hydraulic handbrake. I got the DS8X shifter. And so this is what I thought was badass. You can change it from a 6-speed to sequential just at the flip of a button, which is super cool. And it saves you money, right? Instead of having to get two of them. That's the shifter. So I think this one actually does 7 speeds. So I might be trying to correct myself later on. But then, you know, the Simagic, the wheelbase, and then Simagic pedals with the hydraulic brake. I heard that the hydraulics on sim rigs is better. You guys can tell me. This is the first time I've done any of this, right? And then you guys, obviously the steering wheel I took off. But this is my first time doing anything like this. And I will say this is probably the craziest like money pit ever. I don't even want to look at my credit card when the bill hits me. So we're gonna have to pay that off quick. That's a lot of work, man. Jesus Christ, these parts are heavy, but this is the seat portion of it, I believe, because the other one is the foot pedal. And I'll show you in a bit. Just winded, man. These parts ain't no joke. Whew. So let's get this one out. Let's get it in the office. And then I'll explain a little bit about it. So it's the next day here. I had to stop. I started this late yesterday, so just FYI. Finally done with work for the day. Now we continue with this, right? I want to get this thing built and done today. I don't want to do this anymore because then I still have to do some reorganizing. And like I mentioned, I still have to build, or not build, but swap out the old water-cooled PC to the new tower and get all that stuff in there and working properly. Let's get this big chunk of it done. That's easy. I could do the PC in like an hour, so I'm not worried. I've got everything set up. I took everything out of the boxes yesterday. I have, if you're gonna want to take a glance, I have the directions on the TV. I read over them yesterday. It didn't seem too hard, but you never know, right? Things do happen. Parts are actually beautiful. You want to talk about quality? This is certainly awesome quality. And I don't know if I showed this yesterday, but the blue on the parts is crazy in person. You know, the Alpine Racing team, right? Their standard blue. I wanted to get them powder coated in red. I'll do that when I move, right? We're gonna have to take this apart at some point, right? I'm not gonna be here forever. So once I move, I'll get them powder coated to the color I really want, and we'll kind of customize it my way, and then we'll leave it like that. But let's get this going. There's a lot of work to do. It's just little nuance work, right? So you want to be careful. We don't want to mess up the thread. So let's take our time. Let's get it right. And then we go from there, right? So I'm apologize now. It'll be probably time lapse, me talking for just a little bit in case something did come up that you probably, if you guys wanted to buy this kit, you might want to grab your attention for. Outside of that though, dive right in, all right? I'm jumping in here because I have to say this, right? This is the first part that the instructions make you do, and it was ridiculously hard for no apparent reason. But let me show you why, right? So if you see here, we have the seat brackets, right? So this whole portion is where my seat is gonna go. That's the base for the seat over there. Now, these brackets, for some odd reason, I don't know why, they were super hard to move up and down. I'm not sure if they just didn't have enough grease or whatnot. I ended up having to go upstairs to my dad. We literally drilled it to the wall with the washer, and we had to pull on it. We pulled on it, and then we were able to get more grease in it, and we had to work it in back and forth. So not sure if you guys encounter that, but watch out for those two, right? And then the worry is, this is the first part. It's not literally the first thing. So I hope the rest of it isn't as difficult, but just wanted to call that out, guys. We had to work it back and forth, literally just pulling it, right? So we got it. I got it on. It was still super tight when I put it on. So I rocked it back and forth to keep moving that grease in. Maybe with like my weight on it with the seat, it'll be far easier, but I don't know. So that's that. Let's just keep moving on, because the next part of it is I'm going to be reattaching the seat plate. And then I think we move on to the side arms. And then I think lastly is the foot pedal rest. So we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and put the seat bracket back on and then see what the directions call out for the next steps. All right. Now what I did was I put on the casters. There's no way once this thing is fully built, I'm going to be able to lift this thing or tilt it. It's going to be way too heavy. So the directions don't say anything. You try to look for where you put the casters. There was nothing. I'm guessing they go wherever you guys see me remove those rectangular just rubber grommets. I'm guessing there's holes right next to them where those casters specifically can fit into. I'm doing some math, and I'm guessing that that's where it's at. So hopefully it is. The instructions once again didn't help. I'm guessing that's the thing right with this whole build, but nonetheless, we got them on. Remember what I said, this is the seat bracket. So I'm going to put the seat back on, or the actual bracket for the seat back on it now. I'll lock the caster so it doesn't move and leave it at that. But once I put that thing on there, it's just way too heavy. So to save my back and hopefully save some time and get this a bit more maneuverable, I'll do it like that. So we'll see what happens. Let's get the bracket back on, and then we can move on to the arms of the sim rig. All right, you guys can see now we're getting a little closer to like the actual main frame being done, right? So I got on both arms. As you guys can tell, it wasn't easy doing it by myself, but you make it work, right? Now what we have to do is get the pedal plate installed here. So that's going to be the next step. It already came with 8 screws in these 4 slots here. So I had to remove them. It's calling for another 2 more, so I got to find that. But what we're going to do here is get this guy inside of this guy, and then that would be like the second to last big component to get the frame done. And I'd be lying if I said this isn't a pain, but it is. And I'm working in constrained space too, right? So we'll figure it out. Like I said, reorganizing is coming soon in this office to even fit this thing in here. So it'll be a little bit of fun for the next couple days here, for at least like a cleanup / slight remodel, I guess, without destroying anything, I hope. Let's get this guy on here. It's the last big piece. It's the last heavy piece too. So I'm excited for that because I just want to roll this thing around. But let's get it on right now. So we got pretty far today, guys, and I'm gonna leave it at this because your boy is tired and my back hurts from rolling around on this floor. We got, I wanna say, 65% of it done, right? So the biggest components that came in the heaviest boxes are all on. Let's take a little look. And as you can see, we got the pedal plate on. We got the seat bracket back there on. We put on the seat bracket rails, right? So it can move backwards and forwards. We got the side pieces on, and then there's a couple like little pieces right there, and just the plastic alone. I think that's the last of it, and then everything else that I have, like from that little box to these boxes over here, are all the accessories I purchased. All right, guys, so it's the next day here. We're gonna finish off this freaking sim rig. Today it gets done. I think I only added one thing off of camera, right? So if you wanna see, this is what it looks like now. And I added this guy off of camera, which is literally only 4 bolts. And nothing is like really tightened down yet. So I have to go through and tighten everything. But that's the only thing I added, and that is the mount for the monitor. The actual, you know, like the screen you're gonna be playing off of. So that's it. Let's get this going. I wanna get this last piece done because I just wanna keep throwing boxes out of my house. There's so many boxes. I think it was 11 that came delivered, and I had to order another thing today, so 12 in total when you do all of it. Let's get these last pieces done, and then I'll show you what little accessories I got to hopefully make this a bit easier for me. We finally got the rig together, right? All that's left is the accessories. You guys see me tighten everything down. I even had to put a box on the back where the seat mounts to because it was kind of tilted, and those silver pieces that you guys see me move up, they needed to be in between the grooves. So luckily it worked out. I'm glad I got it together. One of the things you loosen up for where the base is gonna go on, it got stripped really bad, and luckily I was able to get it to fix itself, you know, just kind of rethreading it. I might just call Trak Racer and see if they can send me out 2 more of those, so that way I can just swap it out. But I'm also not sure if I'm gonna keep the base exactly where it's at, and I'll show you why here in a sec. Before we do that, I wanted to show you the seats, right? So here are the Trak Racer seats I went with. I went basically with the same kind of theme as my Acura. They do have them in full red leather at that, but I wasn't sure how that was gonna feel like on an actual sim rig. So I didn't want to be like slipping and whatnot. So I think that's the cloth in the middle and then like leather on the sides. We'll see soon here shortly. Those guys are gonna go there. I think they look pretty nice, and they'll tie in really good with, you know, with the blue on the sim rig itself on the chassis. That's pretty much the seats, and that'll be the last thing we have to put on. But this is what I was talking about over here. So if you look, you have 2 options of how you can put this. One of them is in the manner that I did, because I like my steering wheels lower, especially in my car. Or you can mount this piece on the top, and then the base would go on this portion of it. And I'm just not sure if I don't like the way it's like I sit in like this whole setup, then I'll change it to the top mount, because I'm not sure if my legs are gonna hit or anything's gonna hit. But this is basically what it looks like.
contacto. Aprovecha que hoy tengo rato, pero esta güerita tiene todo lo que te gusta. No entiende nada, pero sabe cuál es la ruta. Sobre los dos, que novela. Me gusta cuando me dice eres la buena, como me cela. Y escuchando Persia en la habitación. Oh, 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 oh. Entre más callados más va a durar. No lo tenemos que contar. Aunque hace tiempo te sigo, aunque lo niegues tú eres testigo de todo lo que hacemos en tu cuarto. En tu mente dejé mi contacto. Aprovecha que hoy tengo rato, pero esta güerita tiene todo lo que te gusta. No entiende nada, pero sabe cuál es la ruta. Sobre los dos, que novela. Me gusta cuando me dice eres la buena, como una celda. Y escuchando Persia en la habitación. Oh, 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 oh. Como la miel a un coloco de la mente.
And just like that, guys, it's finally done. Was it a lot of work? Yes. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Would I do it again? 100%. There's just a lot of things I would change on the next one. And I'm about to get into that right now. So if you guys want to see what it looks like, here we go. This is the setup in its entirety, right? Everything is locked in, except for some little things I gotta button up. But as you can see, like I said, right, triple monitor setup. I'm about to get into that middle monitor in a second, but the official Mercedes steering wheel from Formula One was a ton of money, but so worth it in the end. It looks amazing. And then like we went through earlier, right, Simagic, right? So hub, pedals, Simagic adapter for the wheel, and then also the Sim hub shifter and e-brake, right? Everything Simagic. Now here's where I had to get a little funny with life. The mixer, there was really nowhere to put it, right? And I didn't want to kind of having it everywhere. So I ended up buying a base plate for SimRig, but for flight simulators actually. And it mounted perfectly. Me and my dad just made some modifications to here to cut it, so that way it could bolt up. I can have access now from the SimRig to the buttons, right? So it's just a little stretch out, boom, I can go up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, the beauty of that is when I want to game COD, for instance, or just a different title, and I don't want to have it on the ultra wide in the middle, I switch the monitor over, right? So I literally just pull my chair, my Razer chair, forward up into this monitor right here. So I just turn the monitor out, pull the arm out a bit, and I just roll the chair up, and it's literally like I was gaming at my desk prior. So nothing really changed there. I did swap out that monitor since it's the new gaming one, and I went with a OLED display, but still 1440p. I didn't need 4K for this one. I have a PS5 that does that on, you know, my big TV when I really just want to sit down and kind of get lost in the game. Other than that though, here's the fresh new case. I went with a little Mercedes theme here. As you can tell, I painted certain parts silver. I'll go into a little deeper dive of this if you guys want. George Russell's helmet that he uses in F1 when he puts this guy on, it's probably the nicest helmet I've seen. But still, I love Kimi. Kimi's the man. So I'm gonna mount this eventually in the case. Just don't know where. I know the car's gonna probably go back here where a fan slot should be. So we'll see, but that's the plan. Other than that, guys, we went and routed the streaming PCs now down here, right underneath my desk. Mounted the other ultra wide over here on this side. And then obviously with my laptop, right? And you guys, the business logo here. But this is now I can actually just focus on work here, editing, etc. So my desk is actually now functional, which is nice. But other than that, guys, this is what she looks like when it's all said and done. I think it came out really awesome. I do have to do two things here. So I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the past, but I do need to swap out this seat. I know they sell an extension that you connect the seat to, and I believe that lets you lower and raise the seat as you should be able to per the back of the chair. And if you don't remember what that looks like, it's this guy right here. So I can't go any lower than this setting with this specific chair. So I'll have to get the adapter, but I'm just gonna order the chair, the Alpine, chair that comes with the kit, but you can purchase separately. And then that'll allow me to go fully all the way down and up. And then I can, kind of mess with the pedals over here as well once I get that change done. Outside of that, the only thing I can think of here, two last ones. Number one, make sure you get a USB hub, because if you don't, all of these connections need to go to your PC. And I don't know about you guys, but motherboards don't usually come with that many. So USB hub saved my life. Yes, this is all the cabling. Like, this looks horrendous, but this is as nice as I could get it with everything that you have to kind of put in here. So lesson learned now, right? For the next spot, whenever I move into the house, I'll definitely get really long cables to route this a lot better. I routed it on the actual sim rig as best as I could, right? So you'll see like sections here where it's wrapping around. I try to wrap it through the back, make it as least noticeable as I can, but it's very hard to hide all of that, right? Then lastly, I will say this monitor. So I went with an LG monitor. Typically I have everything ROG. That turned out to be a failure, and here's why. So that LG monitor can't support 240 Hertz without its like proprietary built-in tech, right? The ROGs do that automatically at 1440p. They don't need nothing. I forget what the terminology is for the LG, but it doesn't need whatever it uses to scale it up, right? That's not necessary. ROG just does it. So when I tried to do the full triple monitor setup across, it kept failing, and I was like, why? Turns out LG uses a certain tech that scales it up to 240 Hertz. If not, it dropped it down to like 144, but then it also forced the other monitors to go down to 144, which looked like crap. So, lesson learned now. What do I get to do? I get to sell a brand new monitor to somebody on eBay. So if you guys are looking for a 32-inch LG monitor and this is all you need, great. If you want to use it for a setup like I have, it would work unless you wanted to do like sim racing, right? And you just wanted one full image across multiple screens, then it won't. Keep that in mind. Other than that, it works great. It looks awesome. Bummer that, it just wasn't gonna work for this setup. So I already found an ROG one I just don't feel like spending the money right now. First, I'll sell that one. I'll worry about getting the other one. Outside of that though, this is how it looks, guys. It's all said and done. Let me know what your thoughts are on this entire setup, right? Did I go crazy? Was this too much, too little? Is there something you'd like me to see me add on to the sim rig that's not already here? Let me know down in the comments, right? Just put it down below. I would also say I'll put my streaming, like my gaming handle down below, or actually in the description as well. If you guys want to check that out, by all means, go ahead. Would you guys rather see me stream there, or would you like me just to stream once a week on the actual channel? That way I can interact with you guys, answer some questions, let you know what's coming up without giving too much away. Let me know. I'm willing to do, a stream once a week just to kind of get back in the habit, but then it also lets me, chat and communicate with you guys on a far different level, right? Let me know what your thoughts are around that. Should I do it once a week? Just leave it on the gaming channel, introduce some sim racing into this car channel. I'll leave that one up to y'all, all right? A bunch of parts are in flight, so get ready. I already have a couple of them here. I might just do an unboxing again, just because it seems like people like to see what I get, why I got it, etc. Maybe I'll just hold out a little bit, but some are in flight, some are already here. And like you guys already know, you guys want a full send 500 plus horsepower, is on its way. We got a ton of work to do. I have to do one big thing real soon, so that'll be my next video for you guys. You'll see it, we'll dive into it. Not too happy about it, but I guess it's a known issue. So I'll leave it there. You guys enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry this video took so long. It was just, once I really sat down, you're talking, like, I work and then I do all the editing, I do all the recording, I do it all myself, right? So close to 7 hours, I think it was, give or take, of just footage that I had to go through. It was a lot, plus trying to do other things with the car, plus trying to get the new build. So we'll jump on that one pretty soon too. So you guys take it easy, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of the week. If you're in Chicago, be safe. It is crazy hot, but I love it because I do not like the snow. So enjoy, guys, and as always, go ahead, loco, and take it easy, because I am out.